Hi, this is Louis Lecca with Nuke the Fridge. We're interviewing Melissa from Scream. How you doing?
Hey, Louis, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, congratulations. Last time I spoke to you, I wanted to ask you about Scream, but it was another movie, so I didn't want to be rude. But that brings me to my first question is like, we know these movies are mysteries. Like, how hard was it keeping secrets?
I feel like I'm very transparent, so it's really hard for me to lie when someone asks me, and when someone more or less tells me and they're right, it's really hard for me to hide
Uh-oh.
that to give them the answer. So I was just trying, because it kept the writers kept the filmmakers kept it a mystery for some of the cast. They wanted to keep the ending, who Ghostface was, a mystery for all of us, because that's what Wes Craven used to do. So
Yeah.
they tried that, and I was just trying not to touch on the subject at all because I knew that I would give it away, because I knew more information than the rest of the cast for a really long time. So but it was fun. It made it fun because we're shooting a whodunit, and behind the scenes, it was also like us accusing each other of who Ghostface might be.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Internet rumors. I don't know if you could get into this, but were there several endings filmed? Like, I don't even want to get into what that is, not to spoil it, but was there like a lot of curveballs? Were there a lot of curveballs
I
thrown? Or were
mean,
there different endings? You know?
there were different endings to the script.
Mhm.
That's just something that I think is always done with these movies in case of a leak, or you just got to protect yourself. And it also just makes it more interesting for all of us when we read it. The first script that I read had a different ghost face and like different ending. So it's really cool to finally know what it's going to be when it's the confirmed ending. But we didn't shoot different endings. That
Okay.
wasn't something that we did this time around. It was COVID, we had a limited amount of time, limited hours, so it was a little bit more difficult, but it was still fun.
Look, at least Ghostface wore his mask. Ba-dum-ba.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. But is it something like when you get the script and you know this is a mystery, do you go to the end or do you watch it because you're like, oh my gosh, I want to know what's going on?
I don't, because I really enjoy experiencing it and like reading it as an audience member, like the audience would be finding out as they watch the movie. I think it's just really cool to be playing the game as well. So
Yeah.
I always try to read it, beginning to end. I'm not a very uh I'm not that impatient that I need to know the ending. Uh and the first time that I read it, I was going out for Sam, for the part that I play. And I was like, is Sam gonna end up being Ghostface, or is Sam gonna end up being dead, or is Sam, and I didn't want to ruin it for myself. I was excited to read it, and it was such a quick read. Jamie and Guy, the new writers, they did such an incredible job with the script. It was a page turner for sure.
And your last name links you to legendary director as well in
Yes.
the movie. I don't want to even spoil too much because I discovered this year going in spoiler free is the best way to go. When were you first introduced to Scream? Because obviously you're young. When were you first introduced to that?
I first saw Scream when I was in my obsessive horror phase, when I was like 11 or 12 years old. I was locking myself in basements at sleepovers with my friends and watching scary movies, and that was the thrill of the sleepover. And I was 6 years old when the first movie came out, and 7 when the second. So I didn't watch them then. But then as I got a little older and I started discovering the genre, that's when I ran into Scream and I understood who Ghostface was. Because growing up, in every Halloween, the streets were just like covered in Ghostface
Yeah.
costumes. And I was always like, what is that costume? Like, where does that come from? Why is it so popular? And it wasn't until I saw the movies that it clicked and that I understood. And Scream really just made me want to watch more horror movies. It kind of made me a horror junkie for a period of time until I saw the first Saw movie, and it really messed with my head, and I just stopped. I completely stopped watching horror until
Oh no.
recently.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm out of time. I could talk to you for an hour more, but thank you very much. And props to the studios, because Latin people, we love horror. Include us more, and we're beautiful, and we're good actors, and I think a lot of us are awesome. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. So thrilled to represent in this movie. I hope everyone can go watch it. Thank you.
Yeah, watch it a lot opening weekend. Thank you.
Thanks.